Hello, everyone. So great to be here with the Global Speakers Talk live group this morning. My name is Stefani Havel. I'm a sales strategist, and today I want to talk about prospect to profit, the 5 strategic aspects of a sales process. So I've been selling for over 5 decades. Yes, I started when I was 6 years old with my grandfather, who was an Italian immigrant, who started selling vegetables at the farmer's market. He had a vegetable farm, and that was part of our family's job, was to work on the farm and go to the market to sell vegetables with my grandfather. And what I learned there was really to master the skill of identifying and engaging with clients. I would watch my grandfather talk to customers and share his love for how he actually grew the vegetables, cleaned the vegetables, packaged them, and brought them to market. And so that's one of the first steps in the sales cycle process or effective selling is prospecting. And a key to effective prospecting is not just about transactions. It's about connections. It's about making those connections with your customers, not always thinking about the commerce, thinking about the community that you're building with your clients is so, so important. I also learned my mother was an entrepreneur as well. I was fortunate to grow up in a very large entrepreneurial family in many industries. And my mother owned a beauty salon. And again, there I watched her every day with her different clients, styling their hair, styling their makeup. And again, watching her not only just do a transaction of doing somebody's hair, but connecting with that client. And that's how they built up a business. And again, where I learned that the importance of effective prospecting. The next step in a strategic process is relationship management. So as I grew up out of my entrepreneurial childhood, I stepped into the realm of corporate America, where I spent 25 years in corporate America in the finance sector, leading high performance sales teams. And again, in corporate America, as some of you may know, or if you've worked in corporate America, you did before, you previously, you'll know that it's really about relationship management, which is a second step in the process, is learning strategic way how to foster relationships with people, not only with your customers, but also with the people that you work around you. And you learn this again in that entrepreneurial world, how important it is to make connections with people, because you're going to have a lot of aspects in your industry where you're going to need help from other people, other departments. So it's so critical to have that important relationship management. When I was in corporate America, I was responsible for leading high performance sales teams in the mortgage and finance industry. And in 2019, I had a team of mortgage consultants that worked out of a small, a metropolitan city here in the US. And we were competing against all these larger states, high volume states, New York City, California, Florida, Texas. And what was really important for me is in 2019, we had a company ranking, and our team was ranked 129 out of 230 in the company. And I was very competitive, and that didn't really always sit that well with me. So my team, we talked about how we could work together, work with our clients, work on our communication skills, which again is so, so important. And we, in 2019, in 2020, I took my team from 129 to number 19 in the company. So we were number 19 out of 230 teams in the country. And it was because we learned and leveraged that relationship management skills. The next step was adapting and innovating. As many of you know, our world is constantly changing. The market is changing, and there's so many things that can impact your business and have an effect on your bottom line. So it's really critical to always be able to learn how to adapt to those situations and be innovative. What are new ways that you can be talking to clients, gaining clients, and fostering those relationships? And that's exactly what my team and I did when we went from 129 to 19, and we stayed there for 2 consecutive years. And I was also the only female in the top 20 of my company to achieve that status. Now, the next thing, again, we talk about adapting and innovating. In 2023, my corporate job was eliminated due to market trends and different things going on with inside the corporation, my job was eliminated. And it was at that time I sat and taught and thought about my skills, what I wanted to do, what was my passion, what was my purpose, what value do I bring? And that's what led me to the entrepreneurial role. As you heard me tell in my story earlier, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. So it comes somewhat natural to me. But as many of you know, it's a very, very hard life to be self-employed, because when you're an entrepreneur, you wear so many hats. And that is always an adjustment, because or if you do or do not know, in corporate America, you have all these other divisions of people helping you. And you get to focus solely on what my job was at the time, was sales and leadership. And now in this entrepreneurial role, I'm not only doing sales and leadership, I'm doing marketing, I'm doing financing, human resources, everything. So I had to also learn to, again, adapt and innovate in the entrepreneurial world. But it was that resilience and those decisions that I've learned along the way that have helped me to start my own career. And in the sales process, we went from effective prospecting, relationship management, adapting and innovating, to the next step is value proposition. And that is knowing your value and being confident in what it is that you offer to your customers. And again, there's always competition, but really understanding your value and being able to be resilient and also navigating change. But also communication. There's a program that I facilitate and teach called Everything DiSC, and it talks about your 4 behavior styles. And all of us are a blend of all 4 of those behavior styles, but we all have one predominant style that resonates with us. And why that is so important to understand is because everybody communicates differently. And when you can understand your communication style, you'll be able to relate much better to your clients by understanding, are they direct and straight to the point? Do they like a little bit more social interaction? Do they not like change and they like time to think about things? Or are they very analytical and detailed and maybe a little bit skeptical? So one of the things that you can learn that I facilitate and teach and offer my clients is a DiSC facilitation program. And again, it's about understanding that 4-step, that value proposition, and how to clearly communicate the value that you bring to your clients, and understanding what I like to call the platinum rule, which is treat others how they want to be treated. So often we talk about, what we want and how we would like things. But again, you learn that communication style that everyone is different and everyone learns differently. So it's so important to understand those communication styles. And then the last step in that 5 process, so we have effective prospecting, relationship management, adapting and innovating, knowing your value proposition. And the final one is leveraging your skills and expertise. And again, this is where so many of us that were in the corporate world and really realize we learned so many great skills that you can utilize and monetize in the entrepreneurial world. It's learning all of the things that, whether it's processes, whether it's compliance or risk or structure. I think that is one thing that a lot of people in the entrepreneurial world sometimes struggle with, is structure. So there's ways that you can learn, take from those corporate skills and learn about structuring your business, structuring your day, which is so critical in that process, because you want to make sure that you're not missing any steps in the sales process. I always like to say, if you miss steps, you're going to miss sales, because so oftentimes in that sales process, so we might be really great at prospecting, right? And then we build that relationship, but then we lack in the communication. We forget to talk about the customer and what is it that the customer needs, what's important to them. I call it showing up and throwing up. So many salespeople, they build that relationship and they get the clients and they're so great and they're so excited and they go and tell their customer all the products and everything that they have to offer. And then they just drop the ball, and then they don't follow up, or they don't ask for the business. And so it's really important to understand, to just take your time and go through each step in the process and be very strategic about it, so that you can understand what it is that your customer wants and how you can effectively prospect to them. Now, I want to go back to the first step when I talk about effective processing. I think one of the steps prospecting is what I hear from a lot of clients or people when I'm out talking about sales is I just don't know how to get more business. I don't know where to find leads. I don't know how to generate leads. Well, something that's so important in the sales world, again, that I learned kind of the hard way several years ago is making sure that people know what you do, right? So we talk about always in sales, people want to do business with somebody that they know, like, and trust. Well, I want to challenge you or ask you a question. Who are the people that know you, like you, and trust you the most? Well, let's hope that that's our family and our friends. So I challenge you is, first of all, can you yourself explain in 60 seconds or less what it is that you do for a business? What do you do for everyday work? Can you, if you're to get in the elevator with somebody and you only had 60 seconds to get to the top, could you quickly relay to them what exactly it is that you do? And then the next step is that's great if you can. A lot of people say, yes, I know exactly what I do. I know that I empower professionals with advanced sales strategies and leadership development to drive growth and build influential leaders. Now, the second step to effective prospecting and in sales in whatever industry you're in to grow your bottom line is, can your people that know you, like you, and trust you, that's your family, your close circle of friends, your sphere, can they explain what you do? And I share a quick story. Years ago, I had a birthday party. I love my birthday. My birthday's in July, and I always have a big birthday celebration. And I decided to do something fun, and we played Stefani Trivia, right? Maybe a little self-focused, but I have a story here. And so everybody would play the game. They put in $1, and whoever got the most questions right about me would win. Well, there was about 100 people at this party, so you would win $100 just for knowing me, right? Being my family, my sister, their daughter, their aunt, their friend. And so what shocked me was the very first question was, what does Stefani do for her profession? And at the time I was in the mortgage industry, and I was always looking for clients. The market was a little bit slow. And when I looked at the list and asked, and people had to answer what I did for my profession, the answers were all over the board. She sells makeup. I hadn't sold makeup in 20 years. She works with preschool kids. Well, that's what I do for my volunteer job. She works in a bank. She sells real estate. And the answers were all over the board. And it was really frustrating for me because I realized that my family and friends didn't really know what I did. And when I started looking around the room and thinking how many of them have taken out a loan to buy a house or refinanced a house and didn't use me, whose fault was that? That was my fault, because I didn't let people know, the people that know me and like me and trust me, I didn't let them know what I did. So I was missing out on prospecting opportunities. And when I changed my philosophy that I had to get out there and let people know what I do, and then can they explain to me what I do? Because maybe it's not about just getting our family and friends to buy our business, but who do your friends and your family know? So maybe my cousins didn't need a loan for a house at the moment, but maybe somebody at their work did, or maybe one of their extended family, or maybe one of their friends. And they could say, hey, you know what? I like my friend, my cousin Stefani. She can help you. And that's how you really can grow. That's a very key tip to effective prospecting. And it just goes back to my story when I was a child, is learning how to connect. It's not about the transactions. It's about building that community of people that know you and like you and trust you and want to come back to you to do business with you or refer business to you. So I want to thank you so much for listening to your time. I'm very passionate, if you can't tell, about sales strategies. You can find me on the salesstrategynetwork.com is my company. And I'm so grateful for the Global Speakers Talk because I love talking about sales and sales strategies.